Today, we will be creating new agents using AI. Specifically, we will be using DALL-E, which is a program where you give it a prompt. Let's say a red banana with legs on the moon. Let's see what we get. Well, there you go. A red banana with legs on the moon. That's actually insane. Now that you know how this works, let's create the first agent. For the first agent, I wanted to try starting a bit more vague and then narrow it down on exactly what I wanted. I was going for a desert style agent from the Middle East with sand powers, and I was truly not disappointed as this was the first thing the AI generated. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but that's already looking really good. All it was missing was a bit more detail, and of course some legs. So I used DALL-E's image editing feature to try and get this beautiful man some beautiful legs. And after some failures, it was finally looking pretty decent as an agent. Now, all I had to do is fix up the proportions over in Photoshop, and voila, an agent which would fit right in with the rest of the Valorant cast. Okay, on to the next one. Let's move away from warrior and all that, because I think that's what it tends to go towards. This one got off to a rocky start, but we eventually found a design that looked somewhat believable. We then built off of this design by looking at different variations, and then got to editing. I wanted a sort of mage character that would have the ability to mess with time. That's why you see me trying to incorporate a sort of magical clock into the image. But in the end, I was really happy with how it turned out. So, final agent, let's do something to do with trees. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to like and subscribe. It only takes a few seconds, but it helps out a lot. Also, comment down below your favorite agent, followed by something funny, to confuse everyone who didn't make it this far. Okay, now on to the last design. Yeah, so as past me just said, we were going for a sort of jungle themed design. And yeah, I know, Sky is technically from the jungle or whatever, but Sky is from Australia, and mine is from Thailand. Maybe if you paid attention in geography class, you would actually know that those are two separate places. Anyways, once again, I was absolutely amazed by the results. And there you have it. I mean, for an AI generated concept art, that is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, look at the level of detail. I know it's not the best, and you know, if you were to draw it by hand, it would be a lot better, but Jesus Christ. Okay, so if we look them all side by side, I mean, those look so good. Those look absolutely amazing. We got 3 different agents, all completely unique, all with their own personality and abilities and everything. So now, let's go design their abilities. The first agent is Harp. He harnesses the power of the desert and is a threatening controller, able to easily take space and clear sights. His first ability is East Winds, which is a tornado that he casts in a straight line, and if the enemies don't get out of the way, it will stun them. His Q ability is Quicksand, an orb of sand, which, once it hits the floor, will slow down enemies significantly. This zone then follows the enemies until it fades. His E is what makes him different to all other controllers, as he throws sand dunes on the floor, which will stop bullets and slow down any player trying to cross it. Finally, we have Hab's ultimate, which will cover a massive area with sand. Any enemies caught in the sand will slow down even more and will get a reduced fire rate. Honestly, I went kinda crazy on this one, but after a while, I'm sure Riot would nerf him, right? Right? Our second agent is Kairos from Greece. His whole thing is controlling time with his magical clock. His C is called Fast Track, and he uses his magical clock to pulse a blue hue in a circle, giving any allies extra speed, fire rate, and makes them defuse and plant faster. Since this is so broken, it would cost around 400 credits. Then, his Q ability would be similar, but would have the opposite effect. He would have 3 charges instead of 1, and this would be an orb that he would throw at enemies to slow down their fire rate and movement speed. Then, his E would be a free ability, which would work as a sort of fade dog. He would throw an orb and then control it with his crosshair around corners, and if it manages to hit an enemy, they would be revealed through walls. We now have his ult, and get ready for this one, cause it's actually insane. He would create a dome, sort of like the Killjoy lockdown, and enemies caught in the dome would be slowed down, whereas allies would become faster. The broken thing is, this would also affect spike, planting and defusing. I would not want to go against this guy in a post plant. Finally, we have Liana. We start off with her C, which is a sort of wall of vines that you can put down to either duck behind cover or boost yourself into an off angle. Her Q would create a dome made of leaves that can be thrown down, sort of like Harbor's Cove, but good. Now her signature ability is one of the most game-changing abilities in this video. She would have a vine that she can use to grab enemies, and if nothing is between you and the enemy, they will be pulled towards you. However, if this vine is thrown at a wall, you will be the one pulled towards it. So, it also works as a sort of mobility. Pretty insane, right? At last, we have her ult. Liana's ultimate is Rainfall, and would cover the entire map. She would cast rain across the map, and it will make it so the enemies cannot hear a thing. This would cover their screens with rain, so they would also lose most of their sight. Well, that's it for the AI generated agents. If you want me to make more agents, comment down below your ideas that I should try create, and maybe yours will be featured in part 2. I'll see you in the next one.